All right, welcome back. So, Sammy, looks like the Lakers have added Westbrook. What does this mean for you and the future of the Lakers this season, or this upcoming season, I should say?
What does this mean for me? Absolutely nothing. I'm rooting against them. I cannot stand the Lakers, and it's
But
not because they have LeBron James and all
oh,
the
it's not.
star powers. No, it's not because of that. I didn't like the Lakers even before he came onto the roster. Okay, so hey, I really don't care. But to talk about the as far as the transitions and the trades that they did. They got Westbrook. They got Carmelo Anthony. They got um, um, they were talking about getting Buddy Hield to come to the Lakers too, but that didn't fall through. I'm glad for that. Good job, Sacramento Kings. But I would say this that um, they're definitely building a team to a super team to try to play with the New Jersey Nets, who have Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. I think the Lakers with the um, with the player they added. I mean, I really don't trust Westbrook. I mean, this I really don't trust him because he has had Kevin Durant, Paul George, um, and he tried to play with Harden in Houston, and it's I just don't think I think that he brings a lot of excitement. He definitely brings it every night, like Kobe brings it every night. I think he needs to work on his jump shot, his 3 point shot. He can hit the mid range anywhere in the mid range, but his shooting is not that great. And with Braun going to the hole and passing out for him to shoot, I don't feel confident in his jump shot that he's going to hit it. So I think that the Lakers, you're looking at it. They have the experience. Definitely have experience, and a lot of teams with LeBron James is a contender. But I just think that a more defensive team like the LA Clippers could take the Lakers out. But I'm glad that Carmelo Anthony Carmelo Anthony is playing with his longtime friend, LeBron James, but I don't see this. I don't see this team getting past a good defensive team because you know I just don't see it because I think Westbrook is going to be their kryptonite for the Lakers.
Well, I mean, so he's, for all intents, kind of on his way out, right? And it does look like, even though he has played with some big names, like his personal success really isn't where you might expect it. So it definitely will be interesting to have him join the Lakers, especially with LeBron there, who does kind of act as the lead for the offensive game. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if kryptonite sounds like a strong word. I mean, everything that I've seen about Westbrook, he's a good supportive player, but he's not a star, if that kind of makes sense.
I wouldn't say he's not a star. He's triple double. He can get you triple
He
doubles.
has
Everything
been, let's say that.
he can get you triple doubles, but I think as far as him being on the Lakers and how that transition is going to work, I think the Lakers head coach has a lot of work to do because
It's going to be
um,
a different dynamic for sure.
Westbrook is ball dominant. He's ball dominant.
But that's what I mean. Like, so is LeBron, and LeBron is obviously the star of that team. So how does this dynamic play out on the court?
As I said, I think that um, it would have been better getting LeBron a shooter because when they double team him, when he goes to the hole, he's going to pass it out, and that's what Caruso did. was hit the three. He had shooters around him. LeBron's success is good when he has shooters around him. When he can be able to go to the hole and he knows they're going to double team it, he can pass it out to his teammate to have a get an open shot. And
Well, the stats I'm seeing right now is he's below the league average in scoring. So that he's definitely not that. He's not going to be that person.
so, yeah. What do you think, Tom?
Like,
Yeah, it's I mean, it's all about building, that supporting cast around Davis and James there. That's gonna, remain, their team. And so it's building that supportive cast. But I think with some of this, I don't necessarily think. I mean, I agree with you where LeBron's had his success, but I think they're also looking for folks that can do more of that. As you say, that challenge going in the hole and getting into the paint because they've had, you how do you say one of the things that was boring about the Lakers last year was like at times it was like they wanted to over finesse their game where it's like,
Mhm.
you get that drive and as you say kick out and all that. And it just wasn't there. And it's one of the things for me. And it's like as you said, basketball is your big thing. I watch it. It's fun to watch. All that kind of stuff. Love going to the games. Having a good time and all that. But sometimes you see teams try to outsmart themselves and like get away from like, well, just go play basketball. Like just get it, and do this, quote unquote, the hard way until you get a rhythm going, and then you can get into the other tricks. It's like I think one of the areas that I would say is my bigger. I don't know if you want to call it a concern, but the bigger like, well, watch out for this. They are bringing in more talent. When you got more talent, you can write up fancier stuff. You can write up, you can have this fancier game plan in your mind. You can do all these wonderful things, and that can be very distracting from just going out there and remembering to just to go play ball, right? It's like you overanalyze yourself and put yourself in a spot where it's like, well, it was great, but you were just too cute to win. It's like at some point you gotta pony up and play and play. And so, but keep in mind with LeBron, this ain't the first time that he's built a super team, if you will. This ain't the first time that's happened. So I would imagine that even if the organization's not sure what to do with it, I know for a fact that LeBron knows exactly how to deal with it. So I think they'll be okay. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that this like launches them into the like, well, these are our expected favorites, for next season or anything like that. But I would say it definitely puts them deeper or higher up on the teams to watch out for and to see what they're doing, because it gives them the opportunity and the potential of being one of those super dominant teams. As you said, coach is going to have to kind of figure some things out for them to get there. And so the big question is going to be: is you got talent, you got pieces, who's putting the puzzle together, and can you figure out how to do it?
Well, I think honestly that yes, LeBron is the best player on the team. I mean, his support. If you can stop his support, then he's not going to do very well at all. So if you can contain Anthony Davis, and really, you got to look at Anthony Davis. Every time it seems like he gets injured most of the time or all the time, and it's just like you know and LeBron has been
Mm-hmm.
very open about what he does off season as far as taking care of his body. It's said that he spends almost $1 million on his off season just to be ready for the season. Yeah. So
must be
Hey,
nice.
I mean, the return on investment on that one's pretty damn high. Just throwing that out there. It's a lot of money, big ROIs, big ROIs.
well, and I think now LeBron is trying to get Anthony Davis to take care of his body more so that he can be ready for the season. But injuries happen and everything. So I mean, the Lakers, if Anthony Davis did not get hurt during the Suns series, then I think the Lakers could have won that. I think it would have went to a game seven, but since Anthony Davis got injured. The Suns took advantage and they won the series. But I mean, I think that
That may be what the Lakers are trying to get away from, is to say, okay, we got Anthony Davis. He's got a high probability of getting hurt at different times, so let's have more around, so that it becomes harder to focus in on these things. Where it's like, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for this. You got to watch out. It's like you got 5 guys on the court. If you double team one, as you said, somebody's going to be open, and now you've got 4 or 5 guys on the court that are lethal, wide open. And so it's, just kind of, even if one goes down, you're still with this big number. So it's, that may be, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it may be part of the thinking is to help out that situation, or even to be in a spot where it's like, what, let's try and get guys off the court more. So let's get, a better situation. So when we can sit folks and let them rest. So we're not playing them, 45 minutes a game. We can get that down. Especially, as your age goes up, that game time goes down, later on in the season, that's going to come back and pay dividends. But you got to play now in order to get the opportunity to play later on in the season. So it's a catch-22. What do you do?
well, I'm just waiting to see Westbrook to see how's that going to work out, because he's going to go from being first and second scorer to a number 3. So how's that going to work out?
But do you think? I mean, consider it. Do you think with Westbrook, it's not like somebody put a gun to his head and said you have to go down there and play in LA. He chose to do this. He said, okay. He signed. He was happy. He smiled. He was having a good time with it, right? Do you?
So did Dwight
I mean,
Howard when he signed.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. If his mindset is, well, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to show them that even in that crew, I can be 1 and 2, he's delusional, right? And so for me, outside of him being delusional, he has to know going in there, you are not going in to be the big man. You're going in there, you'll be you'll be important, but you're not going to be, you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis right there. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be the priority. You can go down there and think it all you want. Not going to happen. I mean, do you see him basically having that thought where it's like, hey, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to show them that I can do these things. I mean, I'm sure you go down there, you give it, you do what you do, and if that ends up the way it is, great. But to go into that crowd, especially now, because it's not like any of these guys just got to the NBA last week, right? Go in there now thinking, okay, I'm just going to automatically do that. That's just foolishness.
Okay,
You're playing with fire, and then you got mad that your clothes caught on fire. It's like, hey, what you want?
okay. Well, I will say this: Dwight Howard had the same feeling when he first signed with the Lakers, and he was going to play with Kobe and Steve Nash, and that didn't work out. So
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. And so what you're saying is Westbrook has more examples of how this doesn't end well if that's his thought.
right. From the team perspective, he has to know, and LeBron and the team lead management as well, like they have to know and set that expectation. Like, we are bringing you in here to support a already well-defined cast. We're not looking for you to break any barriers or put new stars next to your name or anything like that. We do want you. We think your skills are valuable because of how we see it fits in the team dynamic. We are not expecting you to be a one-man show here. So please don't come out here and do that, because that's not what you're here for. We already have that show.
apparently they I mean, Dennis Schroeder, he declined an $80 million contract for 4 years to go to Boston for 5.6 million. So I don't know if that was trying to get away from LeBron or playing with LeBron, or I don't know. So
Yeah. Well, there's
I
other
don't care.
news. There's other news out in basketball, one of which we can talk about in a minute here. We'll take a quick break. come back and let's talk about Ben Simmons. Lots of rumors going around, and it's starting to get real close with the trade talks. So, quick break. We'll come back and talk about him.